because Trista's here. So like those, they're going to be the stats that are never, ever given. Trista,
just because I'm early, you're not going to give the people the stats?
I have these
good.
Trista, I've been teasing these stats for 3 days, and we just she's got the kicks on.
I got these from what was it called? What was that place called? Kicks on Fire?
Kicks on Fire. Yeah,
influencer.
Those weren't no those weren't no Air Force Ones or no Blazers that she put up there. Come on, man. You're not just going to the store and getting those.
No, you got to get into the what was it? You got to get into the draft or whatever they call them.
You got to give Trista your login information for you to get those shoes. You got to give Trista all your mother's maiden name, and she'll be able to get So if you get an email from Trista, don't worry about it. Go ahead, respond to it. Nothing bad will happen at all.
Only if you're a blue check. I only reach out the people who stole my account only reach out to people with blue check marks. I want to know what the end game is. Like, say you get, I don't know, 500 blue check marks, you get control of their account, then you reach out to more blue check marks, blue check marks, blue check marks. What are you planning to do with that? Like,
well, the first thing I would think is you sell it back to them.
Oh,
you hold it hostage for what? For how much?
I don't know how much that's for. I don't know.
Y'all don't know my Twitter account. Like, if they get my Twitter account, fam, you could have it. Like, I ain't. There are things I'm willing to fight for. My Twitter account ain't one of them.
If you got Woj's, Woj would probably pay for that thing.
ESPN will pay for it.
Listen, it was a nice week off. I tell you what, I started a burner. I just basically followed the same people, a little list that basically just got access to my little basketball feed list.
Started a burner. Step the game up, Trista. I've been in that burner game.
I didn't even remember what the burner was because all attached to the same account. I had to create like a new one.
I've been in that burner game.
I have one. I'll tell you guys one of them that I had at one point. I don't know what the password is anymore. It was Bam Adamayo at the M.
You crazy. That's funny. That's fantastic. Burner accounts are a wonderful thing. That's great. You're listening to D-Lo and Casey along with Trysta Krick here on ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ, HD2 Sacramento, and Odyssey Station, and driven by last year's Elk Grove Dodge. How are you feeling after last weekend, by the way?
I told you.
You knew.
I said I don't feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew we would lose in a fashion. Didn't I tell you there would be something with Mike McCarthy?
He's did.
Make a move. He's going to make a decision that everyone questions later. That ends up losing us the game. And here we are. We got Troy Aikman burning us, being like, listen, you got single coverage, one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb. You can't get this man the ball more than one time. We got false start after false start. We got holding penalties. We got delay of games. We got defensive holding. Like, when do you ever see guys on the D line getting holding penalties?
Undisciplined.
Most undisciplined team in the NFL.
Sounds like Cowboys football right there.
I want you guys to ask Michael Irvin this for me because he's coming on the show later and I don't get to talk to him myself. I've never met him, unfortunately. I want to know, because he's just as passionate about it as me. He's more delusional than me, but he's won some rings, so I get it. And he's done some drugs, so I get it. But listen, can it be fixed? Do we just have a Jerry problem? Because I just feel like Jerry's never going to get the right coach. You guys have a lot of talent, the Niners and the coaching staff, right? I would love to pluck that little offensive coordinator out from under you guys, pay him a bunch of money, and make him a head coach. I don't care where Kellen Moore goes at that point. You can run off to the sunset with that quarterback draw play with 14 seconds. you can go wherever you'd like if we end up getting McDaniels.
Man, the way Trista laid that out has me wondering if Jerry Jones is secretly controlling the Sacramento Kings too. It feels so similar. It's weird. It's getting weird vibes there. What's the most interesting game to you this weekend?
Cincinnati versus the Titans.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of people sleeping on Cincinnati. Not you?
No, I think Cincinnati gonna win.
I think so too. I think you talk about how they've looked ever since Zach Taylor has given the reins over to Joe Burrow. Like it's just him and Aaron Rodgers, the only quarterbacks left that have over 100 passer rating in the last 5 weeks and no interceptions, right? Like they're like, you know what? We're just going to let Joey cook. We're going to let him make all the decisions at the line, like make changes, take the ball out of Joe Mixon's hands, put it in Joe Burrow's hands. That Jamar Chase connection has been really, really good. And like they've cooked ever since. They've led wire to wire for all those games, right? So I think that they could end up being in the AFC Championship game for sure. I don't know necessarily if this is their year in terms of like beating a team like the Bills or beating a team like the Chiefs, but it could be. I'd love to see it. And they're definitely ahead of schedule, which, as you guys know from your time watching sports, makes it a lot more painful if you regress next year. But you know, when free agents are coming specifically for Joey Burrow to Cincinnati, like talk about Sacramento. Like Sacramento is like pales in comparison to how whack Cincinnati is like to live in. It's cold. You guys have good weather at least. You guys are on the coast, at least on the West Coast. Like Cincinnati's got nothing but chili and noodles.
Chili is a really big deal in Cincinnati. Like it is and noodles. I'm not as familiar with the noodles, but I always hear about chili.
No, that's what it is. Skyline chili is basically chili, like with all the stuff on top of pasta noodles. That's what Skyline chili is.
Oh man,
I've
never been to the Natty. That's a big thing out there.
Yep.
Okay.
Huh. Okay. Hey, what's the job? I'm from a different culture. I don't know. I'm different.
I've never had it. I've never had it. I just have interviewed a lot of people from Cincinnati, and so they always tell me that's the thing.
Okay. Derrick Henry's back this weekend, by the way. I mean, I don't know if that changes anyone's mind.
No, he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
He is a really, really good running back. I have no idea how he's going to look. And truthfully, I don't really care. You know, like I think he could run for 150, 160 yards. And I still think that the Bengals could win this game if they come out firing fast. Like, I don't think the Tennessee Titans want to play from behind. Julio Jones is quote unquote back, but like he hasn't been himself. AJ Brown has kind of been up and down all year. I love AJ. Like he's one of the most likable guys in terms of like receivers in the league, runs very crisp routes, has a huge body, can take contact, can get yards after the catch. But like, I just trust Joe more than I trust Ryan Tannehill. And I think that there's a big disparity between like the Derrick Henrys of the world and the Joe Mixons of the world, but don't sleep on Joe. He's a top 5 back as well. So I just think they have a more complete offense. I like the quarterback more than I like Tannehill, obviously. But listen, the one thing that I think people aren't talking about is how good Tennessee's defense, their front four is. They still don't get a lot of quarterback knockdowns. They still don't get a lot of quarterback sacks. And if you give Joey Burrow any time to process, to make his reads, and to pick apart a very like mediocre secondary, I think he will.
Well, I'm not, it's not a lock for me or anything like that, but I feel the same way as you. I like Cincinnati. I like what they're able to do on the offensive end against the Tennessee secondary that I'm just not sure if they can hold up against that attack. And I know Derrick Henry is back. Obviously that's huge for Tennessee and what they're trying to do, but I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a nice story that they were able to stay above water after Derrick Henry's injury earlier in the season, but I don't believe in them at all in the playoffs. I just don't.
Don't they just feel like a totally different 1 seed in Green Bay?
Very, yeah.
It's like one of these things is not like the other.
So
it feels like there's multiple 1 seeds in the NFC. It's like the Pack, the Bucks, the Rams. Those are all the 1 seeds, and then whatever else is happening over in the AFC.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we all agree here that winner of Bills Chiefs is going to the Super Bowl.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Damien?
Yeah.
Yes.
When Kansas City wins, they're going to the Super Bowl, definitely.
Oh, I got Buffalo.
Definitely.
I got Buffalo too.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll revisit this topic. How'd you do last week on the prop bets, by the way?
I think I was like 60-40. I was wrong with Joe Mixon. He had the under. I think I had the over in that one. He ended up with like 60-something yards, which was interesting. I mean, they cooked obviously all game. Joe Burrow could do whatever he wanted. I forget. There was like a couple of other ones that were really surprising. I'm very curious. I think Debo's prop for receiving and rushing this week is 105 and a half. Is that
That's it.
106?
Yep.
Yeah, 105 and a
Yep.
half. What do you guys think, given the fact that Jimmy G is hampered? He's got a shoulder injury now. He's obviously still got that thumb injury. Do you think that makes it more likely that Debo will get more yards combined, or do you think less likely that he'll get that?
I think he'll get more than that. And I don't think that what's going on with Jimmy G affects that at all. I know he's got the sore shoulder and everything like you just laid out in the thumb still. I don't think the game plan for Kyle is going to change. You know, he's going to use the play action. He's going to use the middle of the field like he typically does. He's going to sprinkle in Debo sweeps and things of that nature. But I don't think the injuries that may hamper Jimmy is going to affect the way that game is called by Kyle Shanahan. So I think Debo's going to get. I actually think he's going to get a good number of receiving yards this week. So that's why I'm going over with him.
Yeah, it's 54 and a half. I think I saw earlier today. It's been moving around. I like the over on that. Like, I know he didn't hit it yet last week, but they were able to sprinkle the ball to everybody except for George Kittle. Like, are they going to use George Kittle this week or what?
They're saving him for the Super Bowl. they're saving him for the Super Bowl, I guess. He had you mentioned the receiving yards Debo had last week, 110 combined yards for Debo last week. So if this prop bet had been out there last week, he would have hit the over. So it's something to watch. 72 yards on the ground. And that, I think, is really what this game boils down to. Elijah Mitchell, 27 carries. Debo Samuel had 10. You got cold weather, you got an injured quarterback, and you got an effective running game. And it's almost tired when you're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, but it's the lock of the game plan. You dominate the time of possession by running the ball. And I understand how elementary this sounds. You're keeping the ball out of the MVP's hands. That's perfect. Now you're standing over there in the freezing cold, frustrated because you're not out there on the field. So I don't know if the 49ers will be as effective on the ground as they were, but the stats that I have been teasing now for 3 straight days say that Kyle Shanahan can comfortably implement his run game plan. And the Packers defense could fold up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is if there was a matchup that favored the Niners, who squeaked in to the playoffs, this is it, right? Like, the Green Bay Packers defense isn't great in terms of rush defense. They're 27th in the league DVOA. They're allowing 4.6 yards per carry on the ground.
There's the stats.
There it is. Elijah Mitchell has been tremendous. I think you're going to get a lot of like pre-snap motion, like jet sweeps with Debo. Like the way that these two played in week 3, Debo wasn't even being used like this. Nick Bosa wasn't playing at that point. Like, the pass rush wasn't nearly as good as it has been. I think in the last 2 games, the Niners have sacked the quarterback 10 times, right? And gotten pressure 26 times in the last 2 weeks. Like, that's ridiculous. So all of that to say, I'm still taking the Packers minus 5.5 just because of the narrative, right? Like, if you're thinking about, and I do think about like the 30 for 30, the Aaron Rodgers sunset revenge villain tour. He consistently, what if I told you Aaron Rodgers lost 3 straight times to the Niners and lost to the Buccaneers and had to go through them both to get his final ring in Green Bay? Like, that's how I think of it. And I'm like, yeah, like, he's the villain, and you show like his clips on McAfee, right? And then and it's like little like turf toe, COVID toe thing, and like it goes fade to black, and then it's like all that. I think that's where it goes. Is like, I don't know necessarily if he ends up facing Tom Brady next week, because I think there's a good chance that the Rams, as fraudulent as they are, that are healthy at the right time. I know I'm committing to that bit.
Low key trash.
Committing to that bit. I don't know, with all the injuries, Tom Brady can sustain all those injuries. I don't put it past him, but I don't know that that's the road. But I do think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be undeniable, right? And even if you keep the ball away from him, I think he only needs about 2.2 seconds with no timeouts to get it done.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with anybody picking the Packers and basically, expressing that because of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that guy, he's mastered the art of playing quarterback. Absolutely mastered it. So I can't fault anybody for thinking, yo, they're gonna win because Aaron Rodgers. Can't do it.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you guys look great. Like, Niners look formidable. And like the narrative to me that's really interesting on top of that is like, what if the Niners do shock the world, right? Doesn't that just throw a wrench in everything hand are planning on doing? Moving away from Jimmy G, moving on?
Absolutely not, Trysta.
You don't think so? You don't think two Super Bowls with Jimmy G, you still move away from him?
Yeah, he makes $20 million a year, don't he?
Yeah.
I got people to sign. So unless he's taking that super pay cut, we wish you best in your future endeavors. Thank you for your time here with the 49ers.
But like, what quarterback can you say in like a 3-year span takes you to the Super Bowl twice?
Because no one will say it was Jimmy. They'll say it was Kyle.
And we gonna see.
That's right. We're gonna find out.
I hope we do find out. The Niners got to the Super Bowl 2 times. Yeah, let's find out what they say.
Trysta Krick, host of Bet MGM tonight. Thank you as always for hanging out with us. Of course, he hosts the Heat Check podcast as well. I'll get that sentence out. Host of the Heat Check podcast. There it is.
Ask Mike Irvin that from me.
I will, because the interview's definitely live and wasn't recorded about 2 hours ago. So I will absolutely ask him that live. Believe it.
Dang.
Thanks, Trysta.
Yeah.